Hey, welcome back. It's JWalter here. In today's video, I'm going to share some more or less positive news because the U.S. Census Bureau announced U.S. housing construction numbers today at the time of this video, which is March 17th. So I'm going to be diving into this report from the U.S. Census Bureau to give you all the latest stats regarding housing construction in the U.S. But first, let me share some insight from the National Association of Homebuilders. They announced this today as well, of course. They say that single-family housing starts posted a small increase in February as lack of resale inventory continues to support housing demand despite higher interest rates. So what they're basically saying is that there's a lack of supply of existing houses for sale, so home buyers are flocking to brand new houses in order to buy houses. And that's further causing demand for brand new houses to increase. However, I'm going to be sharing some recent stats with you guys towards the end of this video because mortgage applications for brand new houses has been decreasing. So more on that here in just a little bit. In any case, the availability of materials, lumber, labor, and lots remain key headwinds for home builders right now, with access to labor in particular becoming more challenging in 2022. And this is of course why we're not having a big increase of houses that are completed that home buyers can buy right now. Overall, housing starts increased 6.8% in February. Overall is the key word there because I'll show you here in just a little bit, but the reports break down single-family houses, which are most people buy single-family houses, or home buyers do. But they also share in the U.S. Census Bureau's report multifamily units, like apartment buildings, for example. So that doesn't really affect home buyers, really affects renters down the road. In any case, I'll share some stats regarding this because housing stats overall increased 6.8%, but that's not the case for single-family houses. Permits pulled slipped 1.9%. And it says due to supply chain effects, there are 152,000 single-family units authorized but not yet started construction, and that's up 24.6% from 1 year ago. This number used to be almost 40%, so the numbers have been decreasing, but they're still elevated compared to 1 year ago. And this is basically where builders have pulled permits, they have gotten authorization to build, but they've opted not to start construction due to all these challenging headwinds that home builders are facing right now. The February reading was also a 4-month high of such delayed starts. This is a big issue because we want permits pulled and construction to actually start for these houses. In March, single-family builder confidence decreased 2 points. We're down to 79. The all-time high was in November 2020 when we had a housing market index of 90. So basically, the higher the number, the higher or the more confident builders are. So the confidence of home builders has been decreasing really ever since November 2020 due to all these headwinds they're facing right now. Builders have reported ongoing concerns over elevated lumber and other construction costs, as well as delays in obtaining building materials. The March index also reported a notable drop in sales expectations 6 months out. So builders are forecasting that they're going to have less sales in the next 6 months, and this could be a possible indication of growing demand side concerns, meaning home buyer demand may be decreasing over higher rates as the Fed tightens monetary policy. If you guys missed my video from 2 days ago, I announced that the Federal Reserve announced that they're going to be increasing the federal funds rate, and they're going to be increasing it by 1/4% in each of their meetings this year. And that could cause mortgage rates to increase this year. Okay, so let's dive into the report here directly from the U.S. Census Bureau. Again, they just announced this today at the time of this video, and this is for February 2022, new residential construction numbers. Okay, so let me break down this report for you guys real quick. So they go over permits pulled, which is when a builder pulls permits and then they can start construction, hopefully. And then also I'm going to be going over housing starts, housing construction, as well as houses that are actually completed here. So here's units authorized. So this is basically means that builders are getting authorization to build, but they have not started that yet. So here's units authorized. This is when permits are actually pulled. And these are, by the way, in thousands of units. And these are seasonally adjusted annual rates. And most of these stats I'm sharing with you guys today are in thousands of units, and also they're seasonally adjusted as well. So the column that I pay the most attention to are 1 unit. This means single family houses, which of course is what home buyers purchase, right? They're not gonna be purchasing apartment buildings in general, right? So these are more for investors. So for 1 unit, permits actually authorized are at 1.2 million. That's down 0.5% compared to 1 month ago, but they have increased by 5.4% compared to February 2021. At 1.2 million, besides January of this year, 1.2 million units authorized is the highest number that we've had in over a year, because in 2021, we never surpassed 1.2 million on a seasonally adjusted basis. So here's something I want you guys to pay attention to. So overall, this is the number you probably see mostly in media reports, saying that overall units authorized increased 7.7%. However, it's less that for single family houses, but most of the permits actually pulled are for multifamily units of 2 to 4 units or 5 units or more, because look at this, double-digit increases compared to 1 year ago. However, single family houses only increased by 5.4%. more than 50% less than multifamily houses. So home builders right now, at least for permits actually pulled, they're getting permits pulled for multifamily units more so than single family houses. Okay, let's talk about units authorized but not yet started. So what this is that builders have gotten authorization to build, but they've chosen not to start construction because of all these headwinds that they're facing. So they can pour concrete foundations, but they can opt to not start construction. And of course, this is a big issue. In any case, the units authorized but not yet started for single family houses reached 152,000. The highest levels we've had since October of last year, have increased both on a month-to-month basis and also a big increase compared to 1 year ago. Okay, let's talk about housing starts. And this is the most common metric that the media focuses on is housing starts. This is the beginning phase of the construction of a brand new house. Housing starts reached 1,215,000 in February 2022, the highest levels we had since March of last year. On a month-to-month basis, that's an increase of 5.7%, which is obviously a positive sign. Also a 13.7% increase compared to 1 year ago. However, what the media most focuses on is total housing starts. And so in my opinion, if you're looking to buy a brand new house, you want to find out what's going on for single family houses and not multifamily units. So have a look at this, because this number here, 1.7 million, that's a total number of overall housing starts when you include single family houses and multifamily units. That has increased by 22.3% compared to 1 year ago. That sounds great, but when you look at single family houses, we're only increased by 13.7%. In addition, what's causing this big increase or bigger increase of total housing starts is really not from single family houses. It's really from 5 units or more, because look at that. 37.3% increase compared to 1 year ago. And that's the main driver why this number is much higher than single family houses. It just goes to show that it seems like home builders are more focused on building multifamily units because rents are so high right now. That's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think below. All right, let's have a look at housing units under construction. So as of February 2022, 799,000 single-family houses are currently under construction. That's the biggest increase in at least a year, and also an increase of 28.3% compared to 1 year ago. Obviously a positive sign if you're looking to buy a brand new house, but I'll stand my ground in saying that if you're looking to buy a brand new house, I would highly not recommend putting a deposit down on a dirt lot where the house is not going to be built for 4 to 12 months. This is because mortgage rates are continuing to increase, and generally you can't lock in your mortgage rate until you're much closer to the house being completed. So in other words, you're not going to know what your housing payment is going to be until you're able to lock in your mortgage rate. I went over that in a separate video, so I'll leave a link below to that video if you missed that. But in any case, I would not recommend placing a deposit down on a dirt lot because of these big issues, in my opinion. Okay, let me share some stats regarding units actually completed. So houses that are actually completed by home builders. And then I'm gonna be sharing some stats regarding mortgage application numbers, which have been decreasing, which is a forward indicator about what's expected in our housing market for brand new houses. So stay tuned for that here in just a little bit. So in February 2022, there was 1,034,000 units completed, or single family houses completed. And that's the highest number since we've seen in March of 2021. a 1.7% increase compared to 1 year ago, and a big increase by double digits compared to January 2022. So before I share mortgage application numbers for new houses and some red flags here regarding that, I want to kind of jump back to housing starts. So overall, housing starts reached 1.7 million housing starts overall, and this is the highest number we've had since 2006. So have a look at this. Here's a Fred's graph. This is for housing starts, and the source here is, of course, the U.S. Census Bureau, or HUD. So again, 1.769 million for February 2022 for overall housing starts, meaning single-family houses plus multifamily units. The highest number we've had well into 2006. Look at this, 1.7. So around July 2006. So the total number of housing starts are at the highest levels we've had since July 2006. So obviously, home builders are ramping up construction right now, and we'll have to see if home buyer demand continues to increase to meet the supply. But have a look at this. This is according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. They actually just posted this today as well. You guys always want a timely update, so here you go. This is for data for February 2022, and that showed that mortgage applications for new home purchases decreased 3.9% compared to 1 year ago, and compared to January 2022, applications also decreased by 1%. So Joel Kahn, who's the MBA's Associate Vice President of Economic and Industry Forecasting, stated the following: new home purchase activity slowed in February as for sale inventory remained tight, meaning existing home sale inventory is still very low levels. And mortgage rates increased to their highest levels since 2019. February is typically the start of the spring home buying season, but applications to purchase a new home were down on a monthly and annual basis. And speaking of mortgage rates, according to the Mortgage News Daily, the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage reached 4.5% today. This is a big increase because as of the beginning of this year, in January, mortgage rates were around 3.3%. So far this year, we have an increase about 1.2%, and that's causing the purchasing power for home buyers to decrease. So the rule of thumb is for every 1% increase in mortgage rates, that causes a 10% decrease in buyers' purchasing power. So if you are pre-approved for $1 million, for the maximum loan amount that you were pre-approved for, if it was $1 million, then suddenly, because mortgage rates have increased by 1%, that means that you're suddenly approved for $900,000 and not $1 million. So here's my word of advice to you guys. If you are looking to buy a house, whether it's a new house or an existing house, then contact your loan officer as soon as possible if you haven't talked to them in a week, because mortgage rates have been increasing greatly this week especially. So have a look at this. So right now, mortgage rates are 4.5%, but compared that to the beginning of March, it was 3.9%. Look at that. In basically less than 3 weeks, we have an increase in mortgage rates by 0.6%. That causes buyers' purchasing power to decrease. So talk to your loan officer if you are looking to buy a brand new house right now, because chances are your maximum loan amount that you're pre-approved for has been decreasing. In any case, going back to this report from the MBA estimates that new home sales declined for the third consecutive month, hitting their lowest pace in 7 months at 791,000 units. So the U.S. Census Bureau is going to report new home sales in about a week, so I'll definitely keep you posted regarding that. But the MBA is forecasting that it's going to be decreasing, and it's going to hit this lowest pace in the last 7 months. Over the last 3 months, mortgage rates have increased over 70 basis points, meaning 0.7%, and combined with elevated sales prices, that is putting a weight on purchasing activity. You can't have home prices increase and mortgage rates increase and have more and more home buyer demand. The buyer pool is going to be decreasing as more and more home buyers get pre-approved for a lower amount because mortgage rates have been increasing. The decline in activity was also consistent with somewhat weaker home builder sentiment and increased uncertainty for the industry as the crisis in Ukraine has worsened the situation for building material prices and availability. Meanwhile, the average loan size for brand new houses increased from $426,000 to $432,000 in February, And by the way, that is a new all-time record high. That is today's video. If you got any value out of this video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Hope you have an awesome day. Look forward to seeing you on the next video.